Hey guys, it's Kay Journey and I am back today with something new. So normally right now I would be doing a planner video and I do have a June set up in my mini. I think that's coming. Actually, maybe you guys have already seen it by the time this goes live. I'm not sure. I have a posting schedule and a filming schedule and they got all sorts of weirdly intertwined and then things happened. So anyway, in my previous videos, I used to do nothing but Happy Planner and some customizable planners and things like that. But I've been in an era of self-evaluation and of realizing that I need more than what a printed planner can give me, including the ones that I make for myself, because I need to be able to customize it as I'm going. So I jumped back into a bullet journal. And what I had done is I had gone through all of my previous bullet journals from years ago, and I was like, oh, I remember I used to do all of this artwork in these, and I loved it, and I got really, really nostalgic. So when I went to set this up, I decided to jump in feet first and do a bunch of artwork in it. And it turned out great. In fact, I'm going to be jumping into a voiceover here pretty soon where I paint the first part, and I'll show you guys this. I did this. Okay, so I will be doing this one on camera, but after that I painted all of these off camera because I just couldn't paint them on camera. There was no way, it wasn't working out. So what I'll be doing is I'm going to be going through that that kind of setup. I'll be going through and doing the line work. I left the line work off so that I could come through and do it with you guys and explain what these pages are in a voiceover, but I really bit off a lot more than I could chew, and I needed to paint a lot, and I needed to paint it as fast as possible. So I just got off camera and I did that. So I hope you guys enjoy this setup, and I'm sorry for what you won't see, but hopefully you guys will enjoy what you see. Okay, so I wanted to take a minute and get into kind of why I decided to switch into a bullet journal. So what I found is that my writing notebook I have not been using no matter what system I use, no matter what I set up. And it's because I am trying to build something that's impermanent, or that should be permanent in something that's impermanent, in something where I can move the pages around. And so any records that I keep don't feel like they're going to stay for a long time. On top of that, I think I've been focused so much on the word count in those writer notebook setup that I haven't really been thinking about like the long-term plans that I have for not only my writing and my series, but my author business as a whole. So one of the things that I'm doing here, and this first setup that I'm doing here, is a month-by-month kind of what are my writing goals for the rest of the year. Just give myself a little blurb of basically what I want to get done, because my original writing goals that I had at the beginning of the year are completely out of the window. And I know they're out the window. I knew they were out the window a few months ago. And I just kept trying to kind of like hold on to some myth that I was going to be able to get 5 books done this year. I'm not. From December to May, I really like fell down, and I fell on my face, and I fell hard. And the systems that I had in place worked really, really well for while I'm feeling great. Like right now, I'm starting to feel great. So I'm like, oh, I can get back to what I was doing before. I have all of this energy. But from December to May, I didn't have the energy. And so the systems that I had in place didn't have any leeway in them, so I wasn't using them. I just basically said, screw it, and just kind of collapsed. And I kept trying to pick myself up and tell myself to, do this work or do that work or the other work. But at the end of the day, I got almost nothing done compared to what I had hoped to get done. And nothing done compared to what I could have gotten done if I was feeling as high energy as I feel like right now. So I think what I want to do, my biggest plan for this bullet journal and for the next year, is to really build systems that work for good days and bad days. So on my bad days, when I get up and I'm like, I can't do anything, I don't have the energy, I can say, okay, here's my minimum viable. Get 500 words done. Minimal viable option here. Get half a video done. Get something outlined. Get something done. And then as soon as I get started, I usually feel better and I want to keep going. But it's the getting going that's really, really, really hard for me from December to May. So instead of continuing to flagellate myself and bully myself, I'm just going to give myself something permanent to look back on and go, okay, look, you can do this on these bad days. Here are the systems. So I'm also, after this page, there will be pages further on that are about systems and about goals and things like that. But here I really kind of wanted to show you me doing these bubble letters. They're just ridiculous. And these tentacles. This is why I stopped bullet journaling, because I was making videos, and some of my deleted videos, if you're from back then, were bullet journal videos that had all this artwork in them. And I forgot how much effort and work it takes. This setup took me literally like 3 days, and I had family stuff to do. And so I was kind of doing it in between all of these other things. And I'm like, I can't do that. I have to have a planner that I can set up the entire month of the beginning of in a day. I can't do this over days and days and days. So this will probably be the only really artsy setup that I have, which luckily enough is in the very beginning. So I'm using Inktense watercolor pencils, and these are Pilot Friction pens. I know they're not archival. I don't care. They're just going around the outside and making it pop. And, I'm only going to be looking at this bullet journal probably for the next year or two anyway. I'm not concerned about whether or not they're going to survive for the next decade or 10 decades. It doesn't matter. The Inktense probably will. These pens won't. But I wanted to do a tentacle theme because I was like, okay, I was thinking about all these different things I could do and all these stickers that I could use and all this washi tape. In fact, you'll see me like erasing things that were written lower down because I left room for washi tape. And then I got this idea. I was reading, I have a critique partner, and we trade each other stuff, and there was something in what she wrote that referenced some tentacles, and I was like, yes, that's what I'm gonna do. And so I came in and I did these orangey, pinky, purpley, bluey tentacles, and they make me so happy. They're ridiculous. They're really easy to do. It's just time consuming. And then the bubble letters, what a pain in the butt. So bubbles are actually kind of difficult to color correctly. And I tried gouache, that's not on the screen, but there was a point there where I was using gouache and trying to get these highlights instead of, what I'm using there, which is the Sakura Micron. No, not Sakura. I don't know what the heck it is. I'll leave a note or something. But I was desperately trying to get this white down with gouache, and it was not working. And then I was like, okay, well, I want to outline these because I got done painting it. And I was like, I don't want to outline it in black. That seems too much. And I also don't want to outline it. I don't want to just not outline it because I wanted these to be really kind of cartoony and feel really polished. And so I was like, you know what? I'm just going to use these pens. I don't even care. It's not that big of a deal. It's not the end of the world if it's not perfect, which again was the other whole point to the bullet journal. Sorry, I had a timer going off there. So the whole point to the bullet journal is to be able to get in here and make a mess. That was another thing with those pages that I was taking in and out. I was trying to make them perfect. I've been trying too hard for perfect instead of good enough. And it's holding me back, and it's holding me hostage. So that's why I grabbed myself a Leuchtturm. I'm very, very happy to be back in one of these. It feels so good. This is a Leuchtturm 1917, I believe that's what it's called, A5. This is my OG bullet journal, and I have always loved these journals. And I started one a while back. I might have shared it with you guys where it was like a writing project planner thing. But the way that I plan on using it is this is a lot more like a bullet journal. So after all of these initial setup pages where I'll be building systems and things like that, and here is an overview for book 4, and then on the left-hand page is just kind of like an overview, and on the right-hand page will be notes for if I change things, so that when I go to write book 4, I have a list of here are the things that are changing in the plan that I already had. Same thing for book 5, and then I have one for book 6 because I have a tendency to work on multiple projects in tandem, and they also affect each other. But after all of these setup pages are done, I'm going to be doing daily pages in here for my work days when I'm writing. So my plan for right now is Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday will be writing work days, and Monday will be YouTube. That might have to change depending on how circumstances go. Right now it is Tuesday, and I'm working on a video, and I was supposed to have this video done yesterday, and it's just been, it's going to be what it's going to be. So there's going to be fluctuations, but on the days where I'm concentrating on writing, I get to open this up. I get to throw the the day label on the top and, write down what day of the week it is and what the date is. And then I get to just sprawl out. What ideas am I working on? What are the scenes that are coming up? What are my notes about those scenes? How do I feel about it? And just give myself the room to express everything that I need to. And I think that this change in the mentality around my planning is going to be really, really helpful, because I remember doing that back in the day when I first started bullet journaling. I pulled out my old bullet journals a couple of weeks ago because I was like, oh my gosh, I'm struggling so hard with planning and with following through. And I remember a time where I was really good at it. And so I pulled these things out, and it was like something inside me, deep in my soul, was like, you have to get back to doing this. Now, this extensive artwork, no, but the freedom of the blank page, yes. I also wanted to make sure that I was giving myself space to do deep dives into each of my projects in this very beginning setup, because I know that throughout my daily pages, I'm going to have other places where I do random notes about different projects. Again, something in my original bullet journal and the original bullet journal system that I was using, where you just create a collection, you open to the next blank page, and you write about whatever you're researching or you're learning about, or whatever the topic is. You just take a page and you write about it. So in those overview pages, I'm going to be able to say, hey, go to page whatnot for updates or notes or whatever. This spread is Universal Fantasy. So this is about marketing my books. It's about going through each of my first 2 books. It's Old Blood and Cold Blood. They're already, out there. They're already published. And then the next 2, and really figuring out what's the best marketing system for each of these. And I wanted it in here instead of in my YouTube, because it's more about my writing. And then my posting schedule and ad schedule will actually be in my YouTube one, because that's, part of my advertising will be YouTube Shorts, things like that. I also really want to allow myself to be a lot more colorful in here. So one of the problems with, again, the Happy Planner that I love my Happy Planners. My mini Happy Planners are not going anywhere. But one of the things that I found is that I color code a lot. I'll use red for appointments, and then I'll use, green for YouTube, and I'll use purple for my writing. And the problem is the page looks really chaotic to me. And that's okay on a small spread where it's just the weekly. But when I want to be getting to intense deep dive information, here in my systems, I want to be able to make sure that I have a section that's separated for each area. So my systems that I'm going to be building is in the next month, I want to be building a system where I get up every single morning that I'm going to have a writing day, and I create a routine for myself in the morning that facilitates me writing. So that next December, when I start to fall apart, I'm like, what's my routine? What's the best routine? So I'm going to be taking notes on, hey, what's the best routine? What's the best way to keep going? What are some snacks or some treats that I can give myself that's going to give me good energy? What kind of music do I need to be listening to? What are the tools that I know will make it so much easier for me to really get back on track? And here is my June setup with a little bit of May, because I'm going to be using this before this video goes out, and it's still May, and I'm going to be using it in May. And I wanted to be able to kind of keep track. I'm not actually sure how I plan on using this calendar. That's why it's completely open. I don't even have numbers on it yet. Because I wanted to sit down and think about it. But I wanted to take the time to do that after I got the video done and out, so that I could just not have to think about it anymore. And then I've got that focus area on the side, and I will probably be writing notes about, book 3 that I'm working on in there. But yeah, I'm pretty stoked with how this came out. I feel like I might have thrown the monthly calendar in there as an obligatory thing. And if I did, oh well, who cares? If I decide next month that I don't need it because I'm just doing daily pages and I've got all my monthly planning in my Happy Planner, then I just won't throw it in. But for this first setup, I'm actually pretty happy that I did, because I actually really like the way this looks. I love the tentacle reaching into the calendar. It makes me so happy. It's so silly. And no, as much as it makes me happy, I'm not going to be doing this again. However, I think, going to be doing a lot more artwork. I think the reason that I enjoyed setting this up so much was because I haven't let myself do very much artwork in the last year, 2 years, because I've been so focused on trying to write. And so every time I pull out my paints and things like that, I'm like, I should be writing. I should be doing something that's potentially going to make me money instead of something that brings me joy, which is dumb. So we're going to see what happens with that. But I don't think I'm going to be doing this in my bullet journal that much. I think I'll be doing more like, washi tape and stickers and things like that, just to keep it super simple and super easy. But I am really, really happy with how this turned out. It's like goofy, funny, cute, and just slightly creepy. I mean, they are tentacles of all things, but they're so colorful and they're cute and they're bubbly. Yeah, I'm very, very happy. Also, brain dump there, which is awesome. And then a section for Q3, because I have a lot of things that I know I need to be worried about next quarter that I don't need to be worried about now. And I want a place where I can just go, okay, next quarter, here's this, next quarter, here's that. So that when I go to plan for next quarter, I can just go to this page and go, okay, these are the things that I was thinking about throughout the months. Okay, so here's the final flip through. There's that like monthly goals, and I did not do a cover page. I might not. I haven't decided yet. It really doesn't matter that much. I have a really hard time with cover pages because I get really anxious about them. So I'm just going to skip it. So then we jump into book 3. And then book 4, which is my next project that I'm going to be working on. I've already got it outlined. Book 5, again, I've already got it mostly outlined, but it will likely change. And then book 6, I actually already started that one. So there's a thing. And then Universal Fantasy, I'm very happy with how that turned out. My systems, again, all of these pages are really geared towards making sure that my year is as successful as possible. So anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I will be back actually in just a couple of days.